Come home this evening, I bet that the news will be the same. Somebody takes a hostage, somebody steals a plane. How I wanna hear the anchorman talk about a county fair, and how we cleaned up the air, how everybody learned to care. Whoa, tell me.
Hello?
Hello again.
Hi.
Yeah, hello.
Sorry about that. I don't know what happened there.
I don't either. It doesn't matter. Let's go.
Okay. So just quickly, Field, welcome home. I'm glad you're home from the hospital.
So am I. Thank you.
Thank you. And I know we didn't plan on recording today, but would you like to quickly explain what happened again today?
In mid-morning, I got a phone call from the Pierce County, Wisconsin Sheriff's Office, and it was a female sheriff's deputy who, drives a patrol route, and she asked me how I was doing. I said, fine, I'm doing fine. I just got out of the hospital yesterday. And she said, the reason I'm asking how you're doing is we at the sheriff's office got a call from some woman named Jessie Sebatar who said that you were in jeopardy of being harmed and that we should check on you. And I told the sheriff's deputy that nothing could be further from the truth. I'm not in jeopardy of being harmed by anyone. I'm in very good shape. I think there's people that would like to harm me, but they're all in a very small camp, and they're not making any progress getting into my camp or getting the sheriff to come here and check on me. And it was my great fortune that the woman police officer that called me was quite familiar with me, because she had stopped me on a traffic violation probably 10 years ago, and she remembers it very well because I was so accommodating and I didn't make up anything. I just said, no, you're right, I was going 72 and a 55. And so we talked for a bit, and she checked the car out, and then she said, well, have a good day. And I said, aren't you going to give me some paperwork? And she says, what kind of paperwork? And I said, the kind you pass out when you stop cars. And she says, I could if you want, but I don't feel it's necessary in this case. And I said, well, okay, I volunteered. And then she thanked me and went off. But fortunately for me, this was not exactly a cold call, because she knew who she was calling and she had a favorable opinion of me. And so she's not going to put any, she's not going to believe anything that comes out of that group down there, wherever they live. And I rattled off the names to her so she would know who I'm talking about. But she felt very comfortable that I was in good hands, and I feel even more comfortable that I'm in good hands. If somebody came here and tried to harm me, they might eat some lead.
Okay, so this is kind of a repeat of 2 days prior to your probation hearing, with a Canadian woman, Alex Kukanakis, that called and said that somebody was in your house trying to kill you, correct?
Well, they're very poor at killing, because there was nobody in my house, but even if there was, I didn't get killed. So these people are lying to the police officers, and I think that constitutes filing a felonious or a dishonest police report.
I agree. I believe that these are swatting attempts, Field, because these people are afraid of your truth. the truth coming out.
Well, it's not so much my truth, it's their truth. They did it, not me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But they're all Homeseth associates. They're all in bed with Timothy Homeseth and Randy Lynn Erickson. And there's a lot of lies coming out of that camp. And I'm really glad that you told me about this today. And I just wanted to get this on recording so that I could put this out to your listeners so they understand the depth of what is happening.
Okay, well, that's fine. I'm glad you did.
Okay, so today is Mother's Day 2023. What is it, May the 13th today?
I don't know.
I think it's May 13th. It might be the 14th. I think it might be the 14th. So correct me if I'm wrong, everybody, and excuse my error, but it is Mother's Day, and yeah, not okay what you guys are doing to Field. I would prefer you guys left him alone and let him heal and let him come back when he's ready to go onto live streams and his radio show and to keep your camel noses out of his business. Back to you, Field.
Yeah, well, most people that are interested in my business are friends and allies, and there's just a couple that are troublemakers. And they're really not going to make any trouble for me because I will not condescend to their level.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate everything, Field, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I'm glad you're doing well. The hospital visit went well, and I'm glad you're home and safe and sound, and Field just needs a little bit more rest, everybody, and I'm sure when he's ready, he'll be ready to come and answer any questions that you all may have for him. Back to you, Field.
Okay, I think somebody's trying to call me.
Okay.
Yeah, they are. Can I say
I'll let
goodbye
you
to
go.
you and take this phone call? Okay, bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
This next video clip was posted today. This is Timothy Homeseth driving to the hospital where Field was to stalk him.
Good evening.
Hi, how you doing, Field?
Well, I'm doing much better than before I came.
That's good. I have you, just so you know, I am recording right now.
Okay.
If you'd like to give everybody an update, that would be great.
Okay, well, today I finished my second day at the Mayo Clinic in Menominee, Wisconsin.
If I look like a good old friend, that's what I am. If I look like a good old friend, that's what I am. If I look like a good old friend who's good at bending with the wind, to be your friend right to the end, that's what I am. If I look like a voodoo doll, that's what I am. Yeah. If I look like a voodoo doll, that's what I am. If I look like a voodoo doll who takes his licking standing tall, who'd rather fight you back than crawl, that's what I am.
Everybody needs to get on to their social media accounts and tell these people to stop. Tell Jesse Saboter to stop. Tell Timothy Homeseth at the High Command to stop. Tell Alex Kukanakis from Canada to stop before somebody gets hurt.
if there's those witches and warlocks and covens that wish to practice their magical rituals and attack those that are on this show, including me, you're in for a big surprise. We too also practice magic, and we will show you what we're all about.
Excellent, George. Well said, as always.
I just want to address really quickly, any trolls that hop into our chat, we won't stand for it. You know, if you're a hater, hate somewhere else. This is a place of love, education, and knowledge. We won't stand for it. If you have an issue, go see a psychiatrist. Talk to a therapist if you have some personal problems. Summon a demon in a ritual. I'll tell you what book to get and which demon to summon. Have a talk with them before you come on here, and then we'll show you what it's all about. If you think you're such a badass, I'll give you a demon's name. I don't want to say it here publicly. I'll give you a demon's name to summon. Summon them and have yourself a very good time. Bye-bye. Jesse. There you go.
Take the children and yourself and hide out in the cellar. By now the fighting will be close at hand. Take the children and yourself and hide out in the cellar. By now the fighting will be close at hand.
The Temple of Satan has set up this project that they're a part of. It's called the Grey Faction. This is a project of the Satanic Temple, and they say that our goal is to expose malpractice and pseudoscience associated with satanic ritual abuse, what they call conspiracy theories. And so satanic ritual abuse, these people oftentimes are possessed as a result of SRA. This is high-level possession. Yeah. But what they're doing is the Satanic Temple is they're protesting conferences where they have doctors, psychiatrists, and psychologists that are talking about trauma and disassociation. In other words, the Satanic Temple wants to discredit any psychiatrist or psychologist or exorcist that determines that their patient is a victim of satanic ritual abuse. In other words, they want to discredit the ministry of exorcism in the Catholic Church.
Yes.
And this is how they become semi-normalized now, is because they're always lobbying for Democrat legislation. They're always lobbying for Democrat bills. And so they have a political action arm. This is how they're trying to maneuver in society. You know, when you talk to them, they'll say, "Oh, we're different from the Church of Satan," from Anton LaVey. We more believe that Satan is a mythical being, but we love the fact that he stands for rebellion. He's against the establishment. He's anti-authority. Those are our principles. So they say we're non-theistic Satanists. We believe in human rights. We believe in egalitarianism. We believe in the separation of church and state, which is a Marxist idea, a Freemasonic idea, by the way. We believe in social justice, which is, again, it's a Marxist idea. So as I'm talking to them, because I talked to two of them for about 20 minutes, they're hardcore Darwinian evolutionists.
Yep.
They're Marxist in their thinking.
Yep.
And they're also they take principles from the Freemasons. And what they try to pass themselves off as like a benevolent organization. Lucien Greaves is their head person. He's their spokesperson.
He's the one that was on Tucker Carlson.
Yeah, that's him. He's their pope, so to speak. He's based out in Detroit, Michigan. That's where their headquarters is at. What they try to do, again, they've tried to use that legislation that was signed by George Bush years ago, where it gives where he wanted religious organizations to be more involved in I forgot what that executive order was called, but this is what these guys have done. They've attached themselves to that executive order, and this is how they ended up getting a 501c3. They're recognized by the U.S. Supreme Court or by the IRS as a religious organization. And what they've done is they've attached themselves as a political lobbying arm of the Democrat Party. Now, they also go into the street, into the public square. They use satire, they use theater, they use humor to try to attack Catholics and Protestants, and they try to use satire to try to get their point across. But make no bones about it, these guys are hardcore, rabid, pro-abortionist, pro-homosexual marriage. They hate Christianity, and they call themselves, again, rational Darwinian evolutionists. I told the two guys, I said, really, so you guys don't believe in a real Satan, you believe in a mythical Satan, but you like what he stands for, anti-establishment, anti-authority, rebellion. I said, what if I told you I'm a Catholic Christian, but I don't believe in Christ. I'm a Christian, but I don't believe in Christ.
Yeah.
They go, we wouldn't believe. Yeah. We said, of course you believe in Christ. That's what Christianity means. I said, well, that's what the word Satanist means. Mm-hmm. It's just, you guys are trying to make me believe that you call yourself Satanist, but you don't believe in Satan. It's like saying, I'm a Christian, I don't believe in Christ, or I'm a Buddhist, I don't believe in the writings of the Buddha. I'm a Confucius, I don't believe in the writings of Confucius. Then why would you call yourself Satanist? What they are, Taylor, they're pathological liars, like their father Satan, as John described in John 8:44. That's what they are. And they're also deceivers.
And I bet if you asked Satan himself, are you a Satanist? He would say, oh, I'm not a Satanist. I'm all about personal choice and liberty and freedom and deciding your own way. And,
That's exactly it.
They're just copying their master because they're slaves.
That's exactly what they're doing. They're deceivers. Revelation chapter 12, verse 9, just like their father. And if you believe that the members of the Satanic Temple, if you believe that they don't believe in Satan, you need to have your head examined. Yeah. Okay? These guys are just pathological liars. These guys don't believe in the Ten Commandments. So for them, it's no problem. For you and me, thou shalt not lie. Right. Okay? 8th commandment. They don't believe in the 10 commandments. They have no problem with lying. These guys don't, again, because these Satanists are about as honest and truthful as a communist dictator or a Muslim terrorist. A Muslim terrorist will tell you, oh, no, we love Christians. We don't chop your heads off on Saturday night under Sharia law. No, we love you. We love you. As both their fingers are crossed behind their back with a saber. Yeah. Prayer is like that. Yeah. St. John Vianney. Because the Satanists, what are they going to be doing in there? Well, in their website, they've actually said that they said that they're going to bring Lupercalia into Scottsdale. So I didn't know what Lupercalia was, so I looked it up.
Yep.
So what does Lupercalia in Scottsdale mean? Lupercalia is a Roman pagan festival held on February 15th in honor of Lupercus, regarded as the god of fertility, in the celebration of which dogs and goats were sacrificed and their skins cut up into thongs, with which the pagan priests ran through the city, striking everyone, particularly women. So this is some type of, sexual pagan profanation of the city of Scottsdale. At least that's the theme of the conference.
Dressed like a regular church lady or a church guy, the Pat Boone haircut and whatever, and a suit, You know, I'm not going to come in there dressed like Ozzy Osbourne fans or anything like that with a T-shirt and leather and a spike collar. So get all that out of your head. So, so as we understand this is going to be a problem, it's a matter of how many times is this going to be going on and what parishes. Well, you know, okay, we have like a 250,000 population in here. How much is the Satanic Church going to be active that you need more hosts, and they're going to put plants in just about every church? Let me give you an example. Where we used to live, we ran into a satanic case. Some parts I'm going to leave out because it's they're like mafia when they get to that level, where they're infiltrated the police and everything, and there was satanic ritual abuse involved with this, just it exists. So, I mean, this activism is another thing in itself, but the outright attempts to steal hosts for ritual abuse is another thing altogether. But you're going to find that they're going to, purposely dispatch. They don't operate by themselves. You know, there's a hierarchy there. In other words, you're just not some fan. You might try to do stuff if you run into the wrong occult books, and you're going to try to dabble. There's dabblers out there for the cult of all sorts. Just like there is in this work that we do. There's people pretending to be exorcists and so forth, spiritual warfare. It's not as flashy of a topic, so they always like to call themselves exorcists. And that's a kind of warning flag there. So the certain members of the cult, at some certain point, all Satanists can do it when you've been initiated to a certain phase. I'm not going to give the gory details of this, but they can actually tell when a host is consecrated or not. Who knows how they see it exactly from a distance? They have to get right on top of it to see the glow, an aura, which we know is scientifically proven that things have an aura around them. They've been able to get this on the Kirlian cameras, for example. So they know to take this host so they don't make a false, they don't grab one and it's not consecrated. You know, imagine it could happen. What if they mix out a batch of new with the stuff that's been consecrated? Okay, so this is nothing new. They do this behind the scenes for a long time. It's interesting that some of these self-proclaimed ex-Satanists don't talk about this at all. It tells you what there's people out there who are faking it. And in the least, if they're not con men and ripping out people to tell a gory lecture, you know, just for the sensationalism of the story of being a high person in the Satanic Church for supposedly X amount of years and having done all of these abortions, for example, is that they don't reveal anything about Satanism they can learn, not even some SRA helpline. I mean, what level are they doing this stuff? They might be infiltrating your church to bring it down, especially the FSSP, which I suspect there is somebody who's going and speaking in all these places who's either a con man because he reveals nothing about Satanism, absolutely nothing of any use. All he does is he just tells the gory details, as I said, kind of promoting a morbid curiosity for the purpose of entertainment, and then throws a little tidbit. You know, no preventative stuff's how to spot Satanism in your church. Back in a place where I used to live, where this big ring was working, and they had this big network, you know, and they travel drugs and everything. That's what I mean. That's pretty nasty. And I knew what church they were at. The grandparents, they were at a church that I was going to also. And in the church yearbook, their pictures were in there. Right there, just a cute little old man and old lady. Yep, they were generational Satanists because the generation came down 2 orders. So that's kind of like how we got involved with it on that level, too. But we actually wrote some people and contacted people to try to figure out how to do this because a lot of people were being affected. It was really nasty. I'm going to tell that story another time without revealing names on that. But this is just something you got to look for. How would you find these? Some people might have that kind of mystic gift, you know. I don't know. It would be wonderful if we could just have somebody, you can bring them in there and they can actually spot the cloud, the black cloud, around or about the person or persons who are actually Satanists and they're there for no good reason. Remember, they can participate. See, when you're actively and you're not possessed per se. Possession means when they take control of your body. If you're cooperating, they don't need to do that. So they can participate in all this stuff. That's how they can go up there and even get so far where they touch the host without going into convulsions. Remember, the demon's acting. They have to give you, basically, you have a stronger demon in you when you're at that level of Satanism that's not going to lose control in that fashion. It can suck it up. And when the exorcist goes before a person who's possessed and it has a higher level, what would you call it, rank, and sometimes we call them doubles, lower level ones can't suck it up very good. So I imagine that what's really happening there is they have a higher demon. Since they cooperate with everything, the demon doesn't need to take over. So they can go in there, they can even tell their confession, they can totally fool everybody for a long time, and they do. Like I said, they were in that parish, those two elderly people. How to spot them? Like I said, I wish it was a way to spot them, and you can pray for that. These things don't infiltrate your church. Because like I said, if you get a guy who goes there and lectures and he does spells on the place and stuff, don't expect everything in the church to be impervious. You know, how can Satan, enter the Vatican or something like that? He hasn't taken it down. Masses are still going on. Jesus said that the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. But so that's just that's the warning. And don't start getting all paranoid and stuff like that. I wish people would, pray for your priest, the targets of these kind of things, and pray for your church so that it does not get infiltrated, and do it daily. And don't expect that if you're FSSP or even SSPX, don't expect it not to have already been infiltrated. You probably had a Satanist come in there a few times already and stole the Eucharist. They might even gravitate to that one more to steal the Eucharist. But the Eucharist is just as Father Chad says, and we found it to be true also from being in the field a long time, is that it doesn't matter where the Eucharist is done in the communion rite, that it's still the same potency. It's still Jesus. There isn't no lesser Jesus and more Jesus. Okay, so much for that. Here goes another warning about Satanism again, but be aware, keep your eyes open, okay? And if you see someone come in, with a little bit of hair and doesn't look like Pat Boone, that's probably not them. They're not going to look like Zachary the Gray or something with a big long beard and long hair. They're not going to do that. They're going to blend right in. They'll have a Pat Boone look, and they can have charismatic spells and stuff, so that you'll just be like, wow, what a good-looking gal or something like that. People will totally overlook the fact she's satanic, or he is. So don't think you're going to regular discernment is going to be able to pick them out, because even the saints had difficulty seeing good.
Same. Somebody takes a hostage, somebody steals a plane. How I want to hear the Yankee man talk about a county fair, and how we cleaned up the air, how everybody learned to care. Oh, tell me, nobody was assassinated in the whole turn world today. And in the streets of Ireland, all the children had to do was play. And everybody loves everybody in the good old USA. We sure could use a little good